A young motorcyclist is dead following a traffic accident in Lucayo overnight. The UT executives are calling on the Ministry of Education to relocate students and teachers from a local primary school. And a police officer spending some time with Grand Bahamas precious pearls. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news of fatal accident overnight taking the life of a young motorcyclist. Tonight, traffic officers are once again calling for greater caution on the streets of Grand Bahama. Police on Grand Bahama investigating a traffic fatality which occurred shortly after midnight on October 31st. Officer in charge of Traffic Division Jeremy Henderfield says that officers responded to a call of a traffic accident on Seahorse Road near Windsor Park.
Once the police would have arrived at the scene, the initial investigations would have told us that this crash involved a motorcyclist and a vehicle. The vehicle was traveling west on Sergeant Major Road, and the cycle was traveling north along Seahorse Road when this crash occurred. Now we know that a young man would have succumbed to his injuries as a result of this accident. At this time, I cannot say if a helmet was worn, but like I said, we're still fresh in the initial stages, and so we'll be able to give you that information at a later time.
And as to the driver of the Honda,
the driver of the vehicle is unhurt. He's okay.
Henfield says they are once again appealing to the motoring public to drive with due care and attention.
We again appeal to the motoring public to drive. Don't drive above your head, ma'am. We want you to slow down. We want you to take your time and to get to your destination.
The victim has been identified by relatives as Christopher Palal Cooper, a.k.a. Chico, the son of well-known businessman Paxton Cooper. His death brings the number of traffic-related deaths on Grand Bahama to 5 for the year. In other news, the Bahamas Union of Teachers calling on the Ministry of Education to shut down the Hugh Campbell School and move classrooms to a temporary location for the time being. Union officials say the school that was badly damaged during the storm simply isn't safe. Italia Hall has more.
Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quentin Larota, says he appreciates the efforts made by the District Superintendent of Education, Ivan Butler, to date to get schools up and running, but repairs are just taking too long at the Hugh Campbell Primary School. Larota says he's been contacted by parents and teachers who have a wide range of concerns.
The teachers are still concerned that they have no chalkboard in the classrooms and they have to write on the wall on plastered walls, writing on rock sheet and so forth. So that isn't a good look. Their classrooms don't have any doors, so they can't leave any supplies in their classroom. They're also concerned about their security, and that is maximized as a concern because the back of the campus don't have any fencing.
He says he is concerned about security as anyone can just walk onto the campus.
With one of those little children playing, run through where the fence should have been and end up in the road and get knocked down, or God forbid some crazed person come on the campus and takes a child, harms the child, or molests the child. We used to live in a country where that wasn't a concern. After those 5 boys got killed, we realized that you can't take these things for granted anymore. And so the government has an obligation to provide a campus that is safe.
He adds that the teachers have been exercising a lot of patience, but they are getting tired.
They don't just want to babysit students. This school is a high-performing school. Very good teachers, had a very good relations with parents, and so we know what they're worth. And they're not accustomed to not having the things that they need in order to properly deliver education to the children.
Larota says the union and members should not have to take industrial action over this issue.
It put us in a situation where we are thinking about industrial action to get chalkboards for the children to write on. I mean, that's, you really sinking too low.
He says ministry officials should look at relocating the school so that students can receive the highest level of education possible. Now, our ZNS News team spoke with District Superintendent Ivan Butler, who says he shares the frustration, noting that the repair work at Hugh Campbell is taking far too long. He admits that it is incumbent on the Ministry of Education to prove an environment that is conducive for learning, and says he hopes that these issues will be resolved very soon. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The island's tourism products suffered tremendous damage due to the recent storm, but some industry partners say with innovation and creativity, the industry can still flourish in the midst of what appears to be despair. Here is Jimmy Lemizik.
Waiting from the Kai National Park. Whenever that comes back, I'll be able to gladly bring that back, but obviously this...
Rudy Sawyer, the proprietor of Blue Green Outdoors, a tour company based in McLeanstown, says his facilities were completely wiped out. That community was hardest hit by Hurricane Dorian, leaving his nature tour suspended until further notice.
The house and the building that we had operation in, I found the walls of it after seeing that the foundation itself is only there, but we found the walls and everything else about 200 meters southwest of where the house used to be. The trailer that held all my kayaks and other instruments of business had 9 kayaks, and then I found that about the same distance but in a different direction. So yes, we lost everything there.
Now Sawyer says he's not sure if or when those nature tours to the east will return, but he says they are still open for business and are offering other tours like urban birding.
We have been offering tours to the west, Grand Bahama, and there's an urban birding tour that we have that covers Freeport and the adjacent settlements around Freeport. So we are still in business, and along with Paradise Cove, our Western Heritage and Snorkeling Tour does incorporate that, and it takes in all the other cultural and heritage aspects that we do offer in this Western Heritage Tour, which we will now be highlighting and focusing on.
Now, despite such a devastating loss, Sawyer is finding a way to capitalize on the negative effect. He says persons tend to lose sight of opportunities when these sort of nature occurrences happen. He's also offering tours to the east to see the devastated areas.
There's value. There are people out there who will never get the opportunity to see what a Category 5 or even a Category 1 hurricane could cause. And for the effect that it's had, I think it's only worth the while for those who with a business trend and a business approach to be able to find ways to capitalize on it. And we certainly do offer ourselves the opportunity to do that.
He says he believes residents in the east would be glad to see that there is some sort of hope for business in the area.
And you know what it will mean to the people, particularly in the East End, who we know have been particularly devastated, to now be able to see people coming to their community now that's representing some elements of business again to come through as well. And of course, any tours there and these people who does have the opportunity to even help contribute towards the coming back.
Jimmy Lemizik, ZNS Network News.
Hurricane Dorian destroyed many businesses, and many of those businesses determined to stay open have had to relocate. A popular business that has been a part of the Grand Bahama community for over some 40 years suffered tremendous damage. But tonight, the operator is painting a picture of hope. Here is Italia Hall.
Vice President of Paint Fair Leslie Davis Baptista says the company incurred serious flooding during Hurricane Dorian. It was the second time the store had to contend with floodwaters. She says just a few months after they moved into their building on West Settlers Way in 2005, Hurricane Francis brought some 4 feet of water.
Knew to prepare. We had everything put up, everything well secured. The building was as well secured as it could be, but there's nothing that you can do with 9 feet of water. All of our equipment, all of our inventory, our beautiful store. So we knew we had a major renovation, and we weren't quite sure how we were going to do it, and we knew that we needed to keep serving our Grand Bahama community. After almost 40 years here, there wasn't any doubt out in our minds that we would keep going. We just needed to figure out how and where.
She says they made a decision to relocate and since have moved into the Heads Above the Reds building on West Mall Drive.
Just was timing that worked well for them and timing that worked well for us, and we felt that it was going to be a good centrally located place that our customers could come in, feel comfortable, get their coffee and browse colors and feel like that they could experience the paint fair experience.
Baptista says they are happy to be open to help residents in search of interior supplies.
The tapes, the primers, the interior latexes. People have asked us, do we have mold-killing primers and paint? Yes, we do. But we want to caution everybody that you have to make sure the level of mold that we're experiencing in our places, that needs to be remediated properly before you go back in. I don't care what coating you're putting on it. You have to do it properly first. People feel as if they can't see it, then it must not be there. What we have to realize is that if you had a foot, 3 feet, 4 feet, 10 feet of water just seeps through everywhere. It gets in. We've had people that have come in and they thought they only had 6 inches of water and they cleared everything out. But when they went back through the wall, they just did some double checks. The insulation was so wet and so moldy.
There are a total of 12 employees working for the company, and they were able to keep all of the employees on the job despite damage from the hurricane. She says Paint Fair is here to stay in Grand Bahama to serve the resilient people.
Amazing how so many people, from vendors to family to friends to competitors, that have just jumped in, and we're all helping wherever we can. It's been an extraordinary experience, as tough as it is, with a team that we've had that have worked nonstop. So many of them with their own devastation, both in their homes and losses. It just blows your mind. So when I hear the word resilient, Grand Bahamians are what come to mind.
The business owner says she is optimistic about the future of Grand Bahama, but residents must change the way they prepare for natural disasters going forward. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Consummate professional and broadcaster extraordinaire. That's how many in the broadcast industry view the contributions of the late Kelsey Johnson. Tonight, as we continue to pay tribute to our former general manager and chairman, Jay Philippe tells us the former pioneer will always be remembered for his leadership qualities.
The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas lost a giant in journalism. Kelsey Johnson's legacy will forever remain in the hearts of many Bahamians who he came in contact with. One of those persons, Peter Adderley.
He was among those pioneers that went into Canada, did the necessary training, and came back to make broadcasting a thing of excellence here in the Bahamas. Secondly, without a doubt, he loved his island of Eleuthera. And those who came from Eleuthera, not necessarily because they were from Eleuthera, it was important if they were from Eleuthera and they had the talent and the skills. And I can think of Martin Aldrin, Elaine Cash Ferguson, and those persons who he just wanted to see excel in broadcasting.
The former general manager paved the way for broadcasters during his time with ZNS and even after his days as an employee. He had a genuine passion for professionalism.
People take his love for the Pennon administration to be something negative. I found the positivity in his loyalty, his pioneering will to see broadcasting done right, and his determination to see the country excel under a majority rule government.
Adderley says one thing that stood out about Kelsey Johnson was his leadership style.
He had a direct and a deliberate will to see excellence in its performance as it related to broadcasting and journalism.
Adderley says Kelsey Johnson's personality and unique characteristics made his managing skills second to none.
He saw the day-to-day newsroom. He understood the administrative aspects. He was stingy and cheap with the budgeting. He was just absolutely hands-on. We've lost a good man.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Don't go away. There's more news right after this break.